There was a little boy starting kindergarten. He was a quiet boy with a unique way of thinking and learning. His teacher grew to love his quiet, unique ways. Through the course of the year, she became acutely aware that he was gifted. When she told the boy's parents, they couldn't believe her, but they were thrilled with the attention that she gave the child. It turned out the boy tested at the 99th percentile on a standardized test at the end of the year. The teacher told the boy, "You just may be my doctor someday." The boy liked that thought. Over the next few years, the boy decided he wanted to become a doctor. However, he was very uncomfortable in social situations. Still, he wanted to help people. Eventually, a middle school teacher talked to him about the doctors that conduct research, people behind the scenes. That opened up a whole new world for the boy. With the teacher's encouragement, the boy learned more about this type of medicine. One day in that same middle school, the boy sat in a lunchroom reading about human diseases in his pursuit to help people. A custodian walked by and said kindly, "You may just be my doctor someday." The boy liked that thought. Yet, a few years later, the boy began excelling in instrumental music under the tutelage of a band teacher with high expectations. While making music seem miles away from becoming a doctor, the boy began to understand how he could master something on his own that could benefit a larger group. The boy continued to progress through school with specific experiences that made him what he is today. The end. Hi, thank you. Okay, it was a good story, but it kind of left out some key details, right? And I don't know how you guys are, but I hate those stories that either leave out key details or leave you hanging at the end. I want to know how it ends. Keep it going. Tell me how it is. So, okay, I'll tell you the rest of the story. And I have to admit, it actually isn't a story. In fact, let me introduce a few of the characters before I tell you the rest. The first one isn't here. Her name is Kathy Germany. She's moved away, but stand up if you work with Kathy Germany at Berry School. Okay? Thank you. Carmen Marshall was the innovative middle teacher. Carmen, will you stand up? Art North was that caring custodian. Art, would you stand up, please? Dr. Jones was that band teacher with high expectations. Dr. Jones, would you stand up, please? Most of the elements of that story were true. I'll tell you more about how I know that in a second. But the story, for all intents and purposes, was realistic fiction. These things may not have happened exactly that way. In fact, I'll bet staff members that just stood up are thinking, "Who is this kid?" But it was pretty close, and the boy remembers specifically each of you. Here's how this story ends up being a topic of convocation. So I'm sitting at a Rotary Club meeting, as I do every week, every Wednesday. I sit there for lunch and we meet with Rotarians. It's fairly uneventful. And at this particular luncheon, we're recognizing students that we recently awarded with the Rotary International Scholarship. And this is fun. It's always I'm usually one of the younger people in the room at our Rotary luncheon, and to get younger people in the room really breathes some life into our Rotary luncheon. So it's always nice to get those young people in there. And so students stood at the front of the room, and very good students, obviously. They were all awarded scholarships, and they stand there in front of us and tell us where they're going to school and what they plan to major in. And I listen to 7 or 8 students say things like, "Hi, my name is Susie Smith. I'm going to CMSU, and I'm going to major in mathematics." And "Hi, my name is Jeff Franklin. I'm going to Truman State, and I'm going to major in chemistry." All great kids. I mean, these are the kids. You go down the line, and all of them have their own story, as you know. But they're just solid kids. I mean, these are great kids, obviously. had all the support systems, all the experiences that they needed to be traveling in the direction that they're going. But eventually we got to a student from Platte County, and he said, "Hi, my name is Lenny Rogers, and I'm going to the University of Missouri. I plan to find a cure for cancer." Wow. I got to tell you, it wasn't what he said, because what he said was really special. It's how he said it. This is a kid who, generally speaking, if you know Lenny, he's a little bit of an introvert. Doesn't do very well with people in social settings. He's a bright student, very gifted. And, I was so touched with what he said that day and how he said what he said that I had to share it with you. I knew at that Rotary luncheon about 5 months ago that I was going to share this with you today. And Lenny's the boy from the story. I spoke to Lenny yesterday and his mother, all of them. And they provided me with all the information that helped me create the story, which was 75%, 25% me filling in the gaps over time lost. And he talked about Dr. Jones, talked about Mrs. Marshall, talked about Mrs. Payne, talked about Mr. North, he talked about Mrs. Rudolph, and he talked about other people. He had very specific experiences that led him down the path that he's on right now. See, we all play a part in what he did, whether you're a custodian, whether you're a paraprofessional, whether you're a teacher, an administrator. There isn't a job in this district that's too small to make the positive change that impact our students to do great things. And that's my message to you as we embark on this year and a long journey to make this world a better place. Never underestimate the importance of the role you play. No matter what you do for this organization, never underestimate the role you play in changing tomorrow. You're a vital component to our team, and we do great things for kids here in Platte County School District. Sometimes we're so close to what we do, we forget about how important what we do is. We become somewhat immune to how important each and every interaction is that we have with students. And when I was listening to Lenny at that luncheon, and I'll tell you, I'm about as far away from kids as a staff member can be in this district. When I was sitting at that luncheon, I was reminded of how important I am and how important you are for each and every student that we have. And I needed that. I needed it. I know you need it. You got to look for those moments, right? They don't happen very often. Search for those moments. Reinforce what you do, because what you do is special. Tomorrow, we're going to welcome almost 4,000 kids into our district. You believe that? I remember